Well, everybody, I know this isn't what everybody wanted to see, but those that are still with me, I think we've made a little bit some advances. One of the one of the things that I have to point out is just the massive nature of the bone structure of this animal. And more, I am ever leading to the fact that these were, in fact, holes that held tusks rather than rather than the jaw, because this for sure is the back of the jaw. I've never seen a single animal that's jaw got smaller the farther back it went. And I want to show you the depth of these holes, these tooth holes. That's, that is a significant root, and they're all molars. And then I want to point out in some of these cases that inside there we have holes that go. That's a toothpick that go pretty far in. Now these holes aren't big enough to breathe through. Now whether they create saliva and that's what they are for, and released it, I don't know. Then we have holes here that that go in and narrow down right away, and then those holes would probably go the full length of that toothpick if I would let them. Now that tells me that maybe they could have been blood vessels, or they could have been some way of releasing uh, uh, sinuses or something. There's an amazing number of holes here, and some of them go in. As you see, this one goes in fairly deep, and these others go go back in the other direction. So I can tell you what I have discovered. I have discovered this that I have eliminated almost all sense of modern animals that everybody's telling me that's what it is. These are the skulls of uh, most modern animals, and there's no resemblance either to the superstructure as far as the thickness and the heaviness to them, or to the fact that any of these grazing animals, all of them, or almost every one of them, have front teeth, and they have. Have you ever seen the jawbone of a deer, or the jawbone of any of these gazelles or any of these things? That their snout is narrow. They have they have uh, a unique set of teeth, and their jaws. If you see, you've certainly seen deer jaws in the woods, or have seen pictures of them, that they are very thin, and there's no wasted in nature. There's nothing wasted. So this animal is a very tough animal, though there certainly aren't anything related to any crocodilians or anything. And I've literally looked from A to Z, and one of the problems with the dinosaurs is from A to Z. I've looked them up, and there is nothing, absolutely nothing, that even comes close to approaching this. So I have found no animal of extreme age that has had pure molars. Now, I'm sticking with I'm not. Oh, I'm sticking with it. It's only conjecture, but that this animal is a massive head. This, even when this was just bone, that it had to have some considerable weight to it, and that this was the front end of it, the front of it. No sign that there were ever, because these teeth are so complete, there's no sign, and the jawbone is such, so continuous, that there's no sign there were ever front teeth. So this animal, if this is the top, see, then this animal ate basically by taking its tongue or trunk or whatever and going down and being able to grip the grass and pull it back into its mouth that way. It did not gnaw the grass off unless it had some cartilage there or some that its gums were so hard that it did it with that. But it basically ground the grasses up and survived that way because these are molars. There's no sign that that no canine or no teeth like the dinosaurs demonstrate. And I have dinosaur teeth here. I should have brought one over to show you. But all dinosaur teeth aren't the same. But they had nothing like this. And you can see, like croc teeth don't have roots to them. You can see this thing goes way down in there. And you can see that again. You can see that on the tooth that's hollow. It also goes down in there. So all these holes seem to be some of them interconnected, and I'm thinking although saliva, as far as I know, is usually excreted from the bottom jaw. So these holes here, whether they were blood vessels, maybe some of these little holes here were in fact blood vessels. They go in very deep. uh, Remains to be seen. But there are very few, and this thing, you think this would be easy for some paleontologist. I have tried getting in touch with them over YouTube, those that have talked about paleontology and they're professors of it, and none of them responded yet. But that this thing would be easily recognizable, this part here, and they could tell from that what the rest of this is. And I'm getting still have the notion this is the back of it, that this part here had to do with its breathing apparatus. And if not, then it had a very small brain. Uh, and that this, I don't know what this groove in here is all about. I've been in and out of here with a toothbrush trying to clean everything out and figure things out. But what that groove is exactly, I have no idea. And what this thing is, I haven't, I have no idea. So I'm still searching for help. I may have to up the ante here. But here's another very interesting thing. Why I'm still sticking with the theory that these were placed for some form of tusk, because you can see how smooth that is there. But here, where part of that tusk or whatever would have broken off, it appears that there are two different natures to the fossil. One is much more porous, which where the tusk was, and this is very smooth, as though something there was something sliding or something uh, bearing on that. This is extremely smooth. But on this side, there's much more. There's much more of this kind of much more poor stuff, and that it is as though that if that was part of the tusk, that part was part of the root of the tusk, that broke off much further down than on the other side, because here again we have that super very smooth surface where this bone was either rubbing against something, or that's where I'm saying that's where this tusk or whatever it was. So I'm genuinely convinced of this much, that this is not the hinge plate for the lower part of the jaw, because this would have been this front here would have been the farthest extent of the upper jaw. Well, you wouldn't have the hinge for the lower jaw directly above the end of the lower jaw, You know, most all the hinges for these would have would have been, if this was the front, would have been back in here somewhere, you know, and so it's still baffling to me, and I'd be more than happy. And the hinge thing doesn't go much theoretically with the difference. You know, you can see these two are identical, that this on this side and this side. So it was something that was equal on both sides, except on this side, the thing decided, you know, got broken off, and on this side, there's very little of it showing. But on both sides, this is very smooth. So it's still an enigma, and I wish someone could come along and help me resolve it. But that's some of the new things. And I went and I looked at every possible dinosaur. There was a one section in there that says dinosaurs from A to Z, and it must have had 200 freaking dinosaurs. But most of them don't show the actual skeleton of the head. They show an overall painted what the thing would look like, but they don't show this part. And this is just so massive that it's nothing that we're familiar with now. I mean, it's not a cow, it's not a horse, it's not a pig, it's not an elk, it's not any member of the deer family. But that's what we have. So please, more help if anybody can give it. And if I can't find out anything in a couple of days, maybe we will up the ante. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and those that are interested, thank you very much, and I hope I didn't bore everybody else.